firing on all cylinders. On Sports Tonight. Join us again.
Team Nigeria was received by thunderous applause when they stepped out to record the 13th appearance at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland. Dressed in an admirable green and white attire, the athletes look fired up to surpass their performance at the 2010 edition in New Delhi, India.
Boxing and weightlifting, 4 of the 5 athletes who have won multiple gold medals have also...
Nettie leads with 6 meters and 49 centimeters.
A major positive from the Games is the revelation that Nigeria's next generation of athletes are ready to take over. It was 16-year-old Chika Amahala that got the medals chase started when she won gold in the women's 53-kilogram weightlifting event. But that celebration was cut short when she tested positive to a banned substance and consequently banned for 2 years. Upon arrival in Lagos, Chika could barely talk, and weightlifting coach Emmanuel Shoma struggled to tell the story of what really happened.
It's unfortunate it happened, but it has happened. We are addressing it. It was just one of the mistakes that children can make. You know, she's a very small girl. Only God knows how she came about it. But
gold medalist in the women's plus 75 kg weightlifting event, Mariam Usman, had a clearer message for young athletes.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them to train hard, stay clean, and, stay positive.
Record breaker Blessing Okagbare shone more than 1 million stars at the Games, winning 2 gold and a silver medal.
Yes, she can! Okagbare, the African queen, reigns in Glasgow tonight. 10:85. She has smashed the Games record.
She created a new Games record in the 100 meters and became the first Nigerian to win 2 gold medals at the Commonwealth event.
In the first 20 seconds, with a double leg, and will she get the pin?
Odunayo Adekuroye produced arguably Nigeria's best moment at the Games. She needed barely a minute to win gold in the 53-kilogram women's freestyle wrestling and gave Glasgow some traditional entertainment.
Look at that for a celebration. Woo!
If you spend money on athletes, you have results. The Nigerian Commission, the National Sports Commissions, they really tried. We were calmed, our food was okay, even we went to the training tour. So if you are given more, and more is expected of you too.
Nigeria registered for 6 sporting events and won a total of 36 medals, 11 gold, 11 silver, and 14 bronze. 5 of the 6 produced medals, except shooting that had issues and could not participate. The special athletes also played a huge part in the country's success at the Games. With the impressive performance of young athletes such as Ese Brume, table tennis star Ojo Onolapo, wrestling sensation Odunayo Adekuroye, Aminat Adeniyi, and even the Ogundele sisters, the lesson from this Commonwealth Games for Nigeria is that if we invest on talent discovery and development, sports in this country will shine again. Austin Okonakpan, Channels Television News, Lagos.
Austin grinning from one side to the other, talking about Blessing. Why didn't they talk about his boxers and the shooter that was promising us gold from before the Commonwealth Games? Anyway, we'll leave that for some other day. But that was a beautiful report all the same. And Onye, no, not missing in action, please.
Every day we are practically waiting for the shooters. We check the list, and when you get to Nigeria, so if you read,
so much responsibility is placed on the man. Some of them, when they don't have tournaments, when they get to Europe, they become bouncers or bodyguards. They have to make ends meet. But for the women, they can get support from here and there, from uncles, from their men. They can get along. But these men, they have a lot of responsibility. So to buttress what Austin said, we need to support them so that they can face their career.
What about the shooters? That's what I'm talking
about. Let's leave the issue of the shooters on one side. It's a story for another day. Let's talk about the women now.
All right, definitely.
Because you women are saying you went to the Commonwealth Games and
9 gold medals.
9 gold medals. Okay, it's okay. Let's talk about the women. The FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Sisi, it's upon us already.
It's upon us.
We played game 1, and we're looking forward to tonight. Nigeria will be playing, and a whole lot of that. But from what you've seen so far, before we talk about the games, yesterday's early morning result, and then the fixtures for today, what can you tell us about the games itself? from day one, the atmosphere, the quality that you've seen?
Yeah, before the game started, we actually talked about the teams that will be participating in this one. Most of the traditional teams, are talking about the teams that have been participating since 2002. All of them are here. So that's really what is big about it. And secondly, for Canada, hosting it for the second time in their history also, which is really another cool one.
It's like they love women football in Canada.
Definitely.
After this tournament, they are hosting the World Cup next year.
So that's really a huge one for Canada. Now, looking at the games, how it started yesterday, the atmosphere and all that, we didn't really expect the game between Canada and Ghana. You know, if you check the Ghanaians, since 2010, they haven't really scored a goal. You know, the last time they actually scored a goal was before 2010. So for them, you know, for you to have one 17-year-old, she was the one that was able to.
Let's not talk about the age. Let's downplay the age that these guys are coming in, because a lot of times when we talk about this age, it takes the focus off the team, and you start to argue about whether
it doesn't really matter. Just take a look at the game. It doesn't matter.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's. Let's take a look at the results of games played late last night and this morning, because some of those games will move right through midnight. So they are really this morning. Sisi,
you have the result on your screen. In Group A, of course, you have Finland and Korea DPR. That ended in favor of Korea DPR. Of course, that game was expected to happen like that. But I thought the goals would be much more than what we saw last night. Just 2-1, of course, Finland making their debut at the tournament and playing against the former champions. That's really not a good way to start. But it was a good result for them. And Canada and Ghana, of course, definitely a good start. I never thought that Ghana would be able to win that game. And for Sherifat, you know, came from nowhere, you know, scoring that goal. I think really that's historic for them after coming to the tournament for so many times and not being able to get a goal. In Group B, of course, Germany and US. You know, I talked about precisely. And of course, for the Germans, they had to take their pound of flesh out of the Americans, of course, being able to win it by 2-0. And for their coach, it was actually her 41st birthday, and she said that there's no better way to actually, you know, celebrate a birthday than playing against your rival and not just playing against them, beating them soundly, and they did not just concede any goal. Ended 2-0 in favor of the Germans. And China or Brazil, I don't really know what happened to the Brazilian in this game.
Because you look at the Germans, you look at the Americans, the Chinese, the Brazilians, any of these four are potential World Cup winners. Yeah, that's the way it is. And for China, and the game between China and Brazil simply shows that this group would definitely be difficult. For the Americans, the fact that they lost their opening game, you really can't. Yeah, because the last position too, they lost their game to Germany in the group.
Precisely.
Made the Germans again in the final and beat them.
And they beat them. So this might just take the same way. But I don't know if the Americans will get to the finals this time around, because I just want Nigeria to actually get to the finals, and because if possible, get the trophy home, because of the pressure that's really on them. And in Group C, the matches that will be decided tonight, England and Korea Republic is already in action. They started at about 9 p.m. just a few minutes ago. And of course, it's still goalless as at the time we left this upstairs and down to the studio. And the game between France and Costa Rica will definitely be another tough one. For England, of course, I think this game, they'll have to do everything possible to see if they can win it. Because if you check in their last appearances, 6 matches they've actually lost. So this will be the 7th game they'll play.
Straight game at this level.
Straight game at this level. So for them, I think a win is really necessary for them. And for England to have gotten to the finals of the European Under-19 Championship simply shows that the girls definitely will be really ready and firing from all cylinders. Korea Republic, of course, they are Asian champions, so they're bringing in a lot of experience into the game and all that. And you have most of their under-17 girls, they are also in this tournament. And for France and Costa Rica, France, remember, they won in Azerbaijan under-17 championship, and half of the team, more than half of the players are here. So playing against Costa Rica, I think the Costa Ricans really have to be at their best to see if they can.
Okay, let's talk about Nigeria's group now.
For Nigeria, Group D, yeah.
All out from Mexico, Nigeria?
Definitely. And if you check head-to-head record, of course, Nigeria beating Mexico just once. The second game was a draw.
We've met them the 3 consecutive times now at this level.
Now at this particular level. And for Mexico, they always have this history. I think in the history of the tournament, they've considered the most goals, 49 in all. Wow. And they've lost in 11 games. So if you look at that, I think Nigeria definitely stand a chance.
What about New Zealand, Paraguay?
New Zealand, Paraguay, of course, making their debut. New Zealand, they will really want to get past the group stage. They've never been past the group stage. So this is actually the time for them, playing against a debutant like Paraguay. But Paraguay, they'll definitely not be pushed over, because they got to the finals also of the South American Championship before they qualified for for this particular tournament. So for me, I think the game between Mexico and Nigeria